Well, what happens when two of the most powerful women in ministry collide? One representing a new generation, and the other a spiritual giant of the past. Recently, Sarah Jakes Roberts shocked the faith community by standing her ground against Juanita Bynum, boldly declaring, "I built this without you." Was this confidence or controversy? Tonight, we're diving into the feud shaking the Black church, exposing the untold details, the hidden history, and the shocking truths that could change how you see both women forever. Trust me, you won't want to miss this. This isn't just another disagreement between church leaders. What we're witnessing is a generational clash inside the Black church, a battle between legacy and modern influence, between tradition and transformation. Sarah Jakes Roberts, daughter of Bishop T.D. Jakes, has become one of the most recognized female voices in ministry today. With her relatable preaching style, viral sermons, and massive online following, she represents a new kind of church for a digital generation. But here's where it gets interesting. Juanita Bynum, a name that dominated gospel circles for decades, isn't staying silent. Known for her fiery messages, best-selling books, and prophetic influence, Bynum once held the same level of authority and respect that Sarah is enjoying right now. So, what happens when the old guard feels overshadowed by the new? And why did Sarah make such a bold statement? "I built this without you," sparking debate across congregations and social media platforms. In this video, we're breaking down exactly what led to this moment, Sarah's rise to prominence, Juanita's undeniable legacy, and the controversial clash that has everyone talking. And before you click away, stick around, because later we'll reveal how this feud connects to deeper issues inside the church that no one is addressing publicly. Trust me, you won't believe what's been said behind closed doors. When people talk about Sarah Jakes Roberts today, they often see the polished speaker, the confident pastor, and the best-selling author who has captivated millions. But to truly understand why her bold statement against Juanita Bynum struck such a chord, we have to go back to where her story began. Sarah was born into ministry royalty. As the daughter of Bishop T.D. Jakes, one of the most influential pastors in the world, many assumed her path would be paved with ease. But her early years tell a different story. By the age of 14, Sarah was already a mother, a reality that sparked whispers in the church world and headlines in Christian circles. Some critics dismissed her future, labeling her a cautionary tale rather than a beacon of hope. Yet, instead of being buried under shame, Sarah slowly began rewriting her narrative. She leaned into her struggles, openly sharing her experiences with teenage pregnancy, divorce, and the pressure of living in her father's shadow. This vulnerability became her superpower. Unlike many traditional preachers who position themselves as perfect examples, Sarah presented herself as real, raw, and relatable. Her breakthrough came when she began speaking at women's conferences. Instead of using heavy theological jargon, she used everyday language, blending biblical truths with personal stories. Women of all ages, particularly millennials and Gen Z, felt seen and understood in ways they hadn't before. Clips of her sermons started going viral on social media. Phrases like, "Woman evolve and don't settle for less," became mantras for a generation of young women searching for faith without judgment. It wasn't long before she launched her own ministry, Woman Evolve, which grew into a global movement. Conferences sold out, her books topped bestseller lists, and her YouTube sermons pulled in millions of views. Sarah had become not just a preacher, but a cultural voice bridging faith and modern life. But here's where the tension begins. Some in the traditional church world started questioning her rise. Was she becoming more of a motivational speaker than a preacher? Was her popularity overshadowing her theological depth? And most importantly, was her massive success coming at the expense of honoring those who paved the way before her? These questions set the stage for her eventual clash with Juanita Bynum. Because while Sarah's rise felt fresh and modern, it also reminded many of the way Juanita once held the spotlight. The echoes of history were undeniable. And just when Sarah seemed unstoppable, one comment, "I built this without you," would ignite a storm that forced everyone to choose a side. But before we get to that moment, we need to look at Juanita Bynum herself. Who is she? How did she rise to become one of the most influential female voices in ministry? And why does her legacy matter so much in this conversation? Before Sarah Jakes Roberts ever filled arenas or flooded timelines with her empowering words, there was Juanita Bynum. In the 1990s and early 2000s, Juanita wasn't just a preacher. She was a phenomenon. Her sermons were fiery, unapologetic, and unforgettable. She didn't just speak to congregations. She commanded the atmosphere, shifting rooms with her presence in a way that left people talking for weeks. One of her most famous sermons, No More Sheets, wasn't just a message. It became a cultural moment. In that sermon, Juanita bared her soul, openly discussing broken relationships, soul ties, and the struggles of women who silently carried shame. It was raw, it was emotional, and it was unlike anything the church had ever seen from a female preacher at that time. Millions of women felt like she was speaking directly to them, breaking chains of silence that the church had often ignored. Her influence stretched far beyond the pulpit. She became a best-selling author, a gospel recording artist, and one of the most recognizable prophetic voices of her era. She was invited onto television shows, interviewed by major networks, and even partnered with renowned pastors on large-scale ministry events. At her peak, Juanita Bynum was considered one of the most powerful women in ministry worldwide. But her story also came with controversy. Publicly documented struggles, including a turbulent marriage that ended in scandal, made headlines across Christian and secular media alike. The very transparency that once made her relatable also made her a target. Yet, despite these setbacks, Juanita's legacy as a trailblazer for women in ministry remained intact. She had walked through fire and still carried influence. This is where her connection to Sarah Jakes Roberts becomes impossible to ignore. To many observers, Sarah's boldness, her relatability, and her ability to draw women into conversations about faith and healing looked eerily similar to Juanita's rise decades earlier. The younger generation might not remember the height of Juanita's ministry, but the older generation certainly does. And so, when Sarah declared, "I built this without you," it wasn't just a personal statement. To those who had followed Juanita for years, it felt like a dismissal of the very foundation that had made Sarah's platform possible. After all, Juanita was one of the women who cracked open the door for female voices in the pulpit. Without pioneers like her, would Sarah even have the space to thrive in ministry today? This question sparked heated debates across social media. Some defended Sarah, arguing that her success came from her authenticity and hard work, not from anyone else's legacy. Others sided with Juanita, insisting that no modern preacher should ever forget the sacrifices of those who paved the way. Here's where the drama intensifies. Whispers began to spread that Juanita herself was not pleased with Sarah's comment. While she has not gone on a full public rant, those close to her suggested that she felt disrespected. In the church world, that kind of tension doesn't stay behind closed doors for long. But what exactly led to Sarah's bold statement? Was it a direct jab at Juanita, or was it part of a larger frustration Sarah had with how the old guard viewed her ministry? To answer that, we have to look deeper into the hidden dynamics between the older generation of preachers and this new wave of digital age ministry leaders. And trust me, this is where things start to get even more explosive. Looks like Alicia Keys didn't just clap back. She went nuclear. She flat out accused Lala Anthony of being secretly engaged to her man Swiss Beats. And the way she did it, loud enough for the whole world to hear. What was once just a shady whisper in the background has now blown up into a scandal trending everywhere with no signs of cooling down. Alicia didn't sugarcoat a single word. She called out Lala directly, making it crystal clear she wasn't going to play the quiet, forgiving wife anymore. Fans immediately took sides, some defending Alicia for standing her ground, while others accused her of insecurity and jealousy. But one thing is undeniable. This wasn't just a personal dispute. This was a full-blown public showdown. Swiss Beats, caught in the middle, has been trying to play it cool, posting cryptic messages online instead of addressing the firestorm directly. But silence only fueled the rumors more. Did Lala and Swiss really have something going on behind Alicia's back? Or is this just another example of celebrity gossip spiraling out of control? For Lala, the accusations cut deep. She's been seen out in public keeping her head high, but sources close to her claim she's furious and considering legal action if the rumors don't die down. Meanwhile, Alicia's fans are saying she wouldn't risk her reputation if she didn't have receipts. And that's the question on everyone's mind. Does Alicia Keys actually have proof? Or did she just blow up her marriage and her friendship over whispers? Whatever the truth may be, one thing is certain. The internet is eating this up, and the fallout has only just begun.